Okay, so patch 719 rundown. This is gonna be, you guys are probably gonna be let down with this because there's a bunch of changes that I don't really want to comment on too much. Or not comment on, but like I'm not really sure how they'll pan out until I play against them myself. But let's just jump into it. So Azir, up his base stats a little bit. I think that's fine. Q, cast range down, spear length up, cooldown down at level 9, cooldowns up a bit early on, evens out at level 5. Base damage up significantly, ratio down. Soldiers clump closer together on arrival. So like that's one of the things where like I read it and like I understand it kind of, but I don't really understand how it would change the way he plays until I actually see it myself. So don't really like this. Um, I think Azir's already quite. I don't think Azir's lane was his problem. I think Azir's lane was actually like really annoying still. Yeah, there are some champions that gave him a lot of problems, but his laning was harass is still pretty annoying. So upping the damage on it and lowering the AP is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure I agree with that, but obviously, that's like one part of the kit change only. Like I have to read the rest of it. And soldiers can't kill wards anymore. Thank God that was AIDS. Cast range up, soldier command range down. That seems kind of clunky. I'm sure people who actually still play Azir that are gonna play this new Azir are probably annoyed by that. Base damage, like I'm not even gonna bother with this shit. Like it looks like it's up early, down 10, up 10 early, down 10 later. That's fine, I guess. Azir gains an additional attack speed whenever he summons a soldier when he raises 2 in the field. I don't really understand how useful this is. I think you need like a certain CDR threshold to hit this. They don't tell me how long soldiers last initially here. They tell me the ammo recharge. Stabs don't deal maximum damage to secondary targets until level 11 now. I believe they did. I think they did max before. Like I don't really know about Azir, man. It's interesting because does he still have his attack speed? Oh no, they like removed that a while ago. I think like this champ is such a fucking mess, dude. Shield AP ratio. Oh, they gave it one. Okay, that's good. He had like a health ratio or something. That was like super stupid. Glad they got rid of that. Okay, so this is actually a pretty big buff. Shield duration down though. Okay, that's a pretty big nerf. Gains his shield upon casting E and not hitting an enemy champion. So that's a pretty big buff because there are times where like you'd be fighting someone in a really close fight and then you E forward, but like you die before your E hits them, or you die like right as you hit them, but you don't get the shield in time. So now that you get it immediately, that'd be really I could be really clutch in some scraps. I always thought it was weird that he got it upon casting E. I mean, hitting someone with the E rather than casting it. I guess that's just like a that was like a remnant of back when he had a knock up on his E. So, or was it a knock up or was it a stun? I don't remember. But he had some sort of CC on his E when you hit people, and then they removed it because it was kind of annoying. So when he hits the champion, he immediately gets a W charge. So I guess that's interesting. I guess people want you to like E onto people, and then you'll get like another soldier to your W attack speed or something. Seems kind of interesting, but doesn't seem very good. And this was the big one that caught my eye. Soldiers no longer interrupt dashes. So Azir is really oppressive against like certain champions because of this. Like playing Lee Sin into Azir was like terrible because you'd like try to kill him and then he'd argue away and then you like can't dash through his wall with your W and you just like get destroyed by his soldiers. Kind of the same thing with LeBlanc. You'd like try to distortion onto him and then he'd block you and then you try to distortion again and you would just get blocked again, so you just can't get past them. Those are just like two of the most common ones I saw, but like it's pretty irritating that the fact that his wall was legit just like a dash blocker. Before ground got introduced into the game, he was like one of the only people, if not like the only one, with like an ability that just like destroyed dashes like this way. And removing that is actually a pretty huge nerf to him. They increase like the width, I guess, because there's like more soldiers and the cooldown's down, but that's actually like a massive nerf to the ability. So I don't really know if he's gonna be good. I'd wager no. This doesn't really change him too much in a way that I think he'll be viable. Like there's a really nice buff on his E. I honestly don't know enough about his ear to comment on his Q and W. Looks like the Q is a bit buffed. Looks like the W is a bit nerfed overall. I don't think his attack speed is enough to compensate. Like the soldier command range going down is pretty bad. Not being able to hit wards anymore is pretty bad, even though I think it was annoying. And the stabbing thing, like I think it did 100% to all targets at every level before, and now it doesn't until 11. So I think that's a nerf too. And while the ammo recharge cooldown is really big, like the fact that it's already got nerfed and the command range is down and the cast range of the shit is still a little bit down, even when you factor in the spear length going up. Yeah, the cooldown down later is good, and the base damage up. They did hit the ratio a bit. I still think this will be a net buff late game. Like he's basically the same champion. He's still gonna be like a very annoying mage late game. But the thing is, like, this R nerf is something that you just can't compensate for, no matter how much damage you really give him or how much like shielding you give him. So I'm not really sure if he'll be good. I just wager no. So Xin Zhao is also really odd. So his attack speed scaling's up, his base attack speed's down. That's actually kind of odd, or that's actually I think kind of bad because his base attack speed is actually pretty bad. I played Xin Zhao a few times without running attack speed runes, kind of like how you play Olaf. Because I was like, oh, he has W, right? I don't need attack speed runes. You need attack speed runes. His base attack speed is bad. It's really fucking bad. So I'm kind of interested as to why they hit that in the first place. So no longer gets armor pen on his passive. Every third attack is his crit thing, or bonus damage, whatever. It might not count as a crit. Every third attack kills him. So they removed his W passives and put him onto his passive, and removed his old passive. Okay. So base damage down a bunch, but it's bonus AD ratio now. So this will be fine. You're just incentivized to build AD rather than build bruiser / tank after one damage item. And you're incentivized to build AD rather than like devour and stack attack speed. So I'm kind of whatever on that. A quick slash in a cone in front of him, then thrust his spear forward in a line. All enemies hit by the thrust are slowed by 50% for 1.5 seconds. So I kind of have to see this and see what the hitbox is to really comment on this. So this is AoE clearing, 70 to 170. Total AD on this one, not bonus AD on this W. Cast time is reduced by bonus attack speed. Okay, so he still wants AD and attack speed. Okay. But he doesn't have attack speed bonus from W anymore. Oh no, okay. Casting Audacious Charge grants Xin Zhao attack speed for 5 seconds. And the damage on this shit is down by quite a bit. And the slow duration's down because now you have CC on your W too. So they basically they put the slow duration from E onto W, which I guess is okay. W should be W is definitely looking like a skill shot. All enemies hit are slowed by 50%. Okay. Okay. And 2 tanky no longer grants bonus resistances. Okay. 3 seconds after casting will negate all damage originating from champions further than 450 units away. Duration extended by attacking champions. I wonder how long you can extend this, because this could actually be pretty nutty. Duels amidst a team fight. Okay. So this is interesting. This is one where I'm really not sure how it's going to pan out. And the reason I don't really know is because I don't know what this ability looks like. I don't know the hitbox. I don't know how long it takes to cast. Okay, so it kind of looks like Sejuani W in the sense that all the damage is backloaded. So like the first hit is just kind of like a formality. It doesn't really do much. Yeah, because like he performs a quick slash, then thrust, and only the people who hit by the thrust are slowed, and all the damage on the thrust. Like the initial does like nothing. So basically, what it looks like to me is that if Xin Zhao hits his full combo, like he hits E into, I guess, I don't know if you'd Q into W or W into Q. I don't know if you can do both at the same time. I'm assuming you can't, kind of like Sejuani, where like if you're casting W, you can't auto. So I'm assuming in a situation where he hits everything, he's buffed, but without knowing how easy it is to hit everything, I can't really say. I really like this R change. It's very unique to him, and it's something that will definitely add a lot of depth to Xin Zhao's gameplay. So I'm gonna withhold my opinion on this. It looks like a pretty good rework to me in the sense that like they made him an interesting champion. But as far as his general power level goes, I have to see him / play him to really give an opinion on that. So I'll withhold judgment, but I kind of like where they're going with this. Aatrox, unstoppable during next fight's descent, massacre range up. There's actually really big buffs to Aatrox, even though they're just two things. These are both things that he needed. No complaints here. Don't think he'll be particularly good, but the people who are crazy enough to play Aatrox, they'll definitely feel it. So these Caitlyn changes, base health down a fuck ton, health growth up a bit to compensate for it, base attack speed up, innate bonus attack speed down, attack speed level 1 same, attack speed growth up. Headshots can proc on turrets. They gave her the Q damage back. I remember in the past rundown I harped on this so much because this is actually a huge nerf. And trap duration down a ton. Gotta be very, very useless until, except for like chain CCing up until like rank 5 really, which I think is a good change. Target reveal duration down a bunch, that's good. Charge rate up at rank 5 and rank 4. Yeah, okay. So, oh no, it's only up at rank 5. Okay. So I like these changes to Caitlyn. The problem with Caitlyn before all the nerfs was that she was just too good at everything. And then the problem with her after the nerfs was that she wasn't good enough at anything anymore to warrant picking her. So they kind of give it back, like her late game at least. Like the traps are still gonna be annoying, but they made the traps a little less oppressive to play against in the sense of how long they last. They give her back her lane power with this Q stuff. They give her back some of her late game with the attack speed and the headshot proccing on turrets. So the thing about Caitlyn was that I don't actually think she was terrible in a competitive sense. I think she was terrible in a solo queue sense because you're kind of like, the thing about solo queue, holy shit. The thing about solo queue is that you're a champion who focuses on winning lane, but you don't win lane in the same sense that a Draven wins lane. Because you win lane by getting a 20-30 CS lead and taking first turret, but that's only if you don't get ganked. But the problem is in solo queue, you don't have warding efforts for the whole team, so you're going to get ganked and you're probably going to die. And the second you die, you can't leverage your advantage anymore because you leverage your advantage by using your range to be a bully. But the second you're behind, they just all in you, and you just lose, or they just did too much sustain because they got a lifesteal item or something, and you can't do anything anymore. And most of the carries in the current meta, like Tristana, Twitch, that Kog'Maw, outlawed scale her. Back when she was good, she was not only like the most oppressive laner, but she outscaled everyone except maybe like Tristana, who was like coming into the meta near the end of her demise, or the end of her reign of terror. So I like these changes. I still wish the traps had a little less uptime at rank 5, but she did need some compensation buffs, and they did at least destroy her base health, so while she could still be a huge bully in lane with range, she has to be a lot more careful about getting all in than she was before, which I think is a good change. So I don't like Caitlyn, but I do agree that she needed a bit of help just because she was still okay and competitive when there were 80 carry bans, but that was really the only case where she was like an acceptable pick. Got hit a little too hard and just too weak for solo queue. So Janna changes, attack range up, good, base attack AD down, AD growth down, attack speed growth up, missile speed up, base health up, health growth stat down, okay. I don't even think they needed a nerf for AD. Benefits of Tailwind's 8% move speed increase, add damage to your movement speed, they grant the W, where's the passive damage? Oh no, they're both on this. Okay, but Tailwind's thing from Zephyr. Oh no. Tailwind. Oh, it grants it by itself, and Zephyr still gets movement speed too to add to Tailwind. Okay, so straight off the bat, I do like these shadow changes. I do like that they upped the cooldown on the shield, but it's the same at later ranks because thing about Janna that people don't understand is like, yes, she's good at putting Arden on one person, but there's abusive champions like Taric and Rakan who are good at putting Arden on multiple champions at the same time. Whereas Janna has to decide who to put it on. She has to decide between, in a team fight, do I put it on the AD carry when he's full HP and let him Arden, or do I wait for him to take some damage and then put it on so he can Arden heal up, or do I just ult someone who's about to die, like even if he doesn't really use the Arden, or do I, like, there's actually some depth to it, and 10 seconds for a single target shield late game is actually kind of bad. I know you have to factor in CDR, it gets lower, but you know, like it's a 6 second with 40%. And you know, I think you still get it pretty easily as a support, even though you don't get that much gold income. Well, coin is, well, we won't talk about coin, but it's still longer. It's still harder to apply Ardent with the shield than most people, and your ult is like, you also have to think about like, do I disengage with my ult, or do I just pop my ult to like heal in the middle of a fight, or do I just pop my ult to get Ardent on people when like we're like in an important part of the fight? Like, what do I do? So there is more depth to Janna than people give credit for, at least for the applying Ardent part. I really like this Q change. They let the mana cost go down early, and you don't max this. You max this shit last, so it'll stay down for a while. Standardize the cooldown, which is a buff because you'll never hit level 18 on support anyway. And the range is, the base range is up, and the endpoint reaches faster, which means the endpoint will always reach your 1.5, which means the fully charged ones move faster. And I really like this change because one of the big things that set good Jannas apart from just like I autofilled Janna, the Champions Easy Jannas, are their use of Q. And the thing is, like, even if you're like a god tier Janna player, like it's too hard to hit Q against people with brains, but now that it moves at the same speed, if you're really good at like using Q, it'll be easier to show that and impact the game with that. So Zephyr cooldown down, slow duration down. I actually really like this. This is a really long slow. Passive movement speed down, and the range increase for large targets. This is a whatever change. So I like these changes to Janna. This passive change promotes interactivity in lane. The E change, this will hurt her early laning quite a bit until she hits level 9. And this Howling Gale change is really nice. I'm kind of indifferent to these base stat changes, but I think overall it's a good step for Janna. Malphite, this kind of like the Sejuani effect, where he has a shield, the passive armor from the W is tripled, but they lowered it, the passive armor you get itself by 5 at every rank, so it's not like too impressive. Malphite's still going to be bad, sorry. It's cool though, your Iceborne Gauntlet's going to be huge, but he's pretty bad. So I don't know enough about Orianna. I don't play her enough to know whether this is like a thing that Orianna's players did a lot. I'd wager yes. I lean towards yes, but I don't want to make any sweeping judgments of Orianna based on this. It seems like this is a nerf, and that's why they're compensating by upping the mythos speed on Q. I doubt they just straight buff Orianna in her current state. So I'd say this is a nerf, but I'd have to talk to Orianna players to know for sure. Orange changes, Volcanic Rupture, and E down, base mana up. This is fine. I still think he's kind of got some other issues to iron out, namely the fact that he does like very little damage, and I feel like they should put some damage on his E. It feels so satisfying to hit until you realize you did like 40 damage to the other guy, so I feel like he needs a little bit of more oomph to his kit in terms of damage. Like he doesn't have the same damage as other tanks bring, and he doesn't necessarily have better CC either. A lot of his powers in his ult. I'd like to like hit some parts of his kit in exchange for giving him some more damage, but I'm not too sure overall how to fix him. So Q, bonus damage. You can't crit on the bonus damage. Our duration gets extended when you kill someone, or when you get an assist. Percent health damage on server bolts level 1 down, minimum damage increase. So I'm a fan of these Vayne changes. I think this is a cool way to buff a champion's ultimate. I don't really have any thoughts on the W change overall because it's still the same at level 3, at rank 3. And I really like that they removed tumble crit. Because one of the most cancerous things in the game is when Vayne gets fed and she just tumble crits you for like 1k and you're squished and you're just dead. You know, the champion, like the way the champion works, it's like you're trying to like get that silver bolt and just blow someone up, right? But the way the crit build was um, advising you to play, it'd be like tumble crit someone with your IE shiv and hope you just one shot them or two shot them and you don't even need silver bolts. And I thought that was really dumb. It's like, why would you even your champion's like identity? When people talk about Vayne, they're like, yeah, I really hate Vayne's W. It's like super cancerous. And then they added the tumble crit thing, and then people are like, you know what's even more cancerous than getting killed in 3 autos? Getting killed in 2 autos. And it's just like, why did they do this? So I'm glad they removed this. I'm glad they're kind of changing the way she kind of has an identity, because they don't like, I think Vayne's a bad champion, but like to like play, like I think she's not very good, but I don't think that making her playable by giving her the ability to just two-shot people with IE Shiv with like 2 autos was good either. I think it was just super stupid. It got to the point where I don't want Vayne on my team because I think the champ's bad, but I also don't really want to play against Vayne because if she gets fed, she just two taps me, and it's like, what the fuck do I do? So I'm really glad they removed this. So Veigar, base health regen growth increased. Okay, he needs it for sure. W cooldown reduced. Every 50 stacks of his passive lowers Dark Heal's cooldown by 10% multiplicative. Yikes. Yikes. Holy. So he's still gonna be a late game monster. They buffed his early game a bit to compensate. I mean, not to compensate, to help him get to that point. They justify his countered by Banshees and Quicksilver. Okay. Okay, I think he's in a good spot now, though. I think they should leave him here. Because you can't make someone who's got this nutty of a late game and then buff his late game get any stronger in lane. So I think if they leave him here, he'll be okay. He might actually be a bit on the strong side now, to be honest, too. But I think they leave him here and see how he deals for a while. Any more buffs to him, I think, will be over the edge. But I'm interested to see how that changes. Ardent Sensor, healing or shielding, now gives the Ardent Sensor's buff. Attack speed down, up at 18. On hit damage down, up at 18. Okay. I think Ardent Sensor's buff applies based on the caster's level. So if it's off the caster's level, I think this change is good. If it's off the person who gets its level, I think this change is kind of too good. Because supports don't get as much EXP as other people, so they're usually down in level. So it'll take longer for the attack speed buff to scale to the point where it's better. And they're removing the heal overall, and the on-hit damage is down until later on too. So if it's off support's level, I think this is fine. If it's off who you cast it on's level, I think this might still be a bit oppressive, but removing the heal is already pretty big. This item will still probably get rushed, but I'm interested to see how it does now. And I think it's nice that it gives the buff to yourself too. Tarek will really appreciate that. Total cost, okay, definitely good. This item murders Urgot. This item is very strong for tanks up against carries in the top lane who build sustain. It's still going to be good. It's just a bit less oppressive. And they buff Thornmail to compensate. I think this is great. Bramble Vest is too strong. Thornmail is a terrible item. Edge of Night. Spell shield duration up. Active cooldown down. Definitely needed. This item's kind of shit right now. Righteous Glory. Total cost up. Combined cost up. Definitely needed. People started building more Glory than Vow and Solo Q after the nerfs. Me was a big offender of this because Glory is just so much better than... Well, Glory was just like... Glory and Vow are both broken, but then they just like nerfed Vow a fuck ton, and then people were like, well, we'll just build Glory now too. We'll just build Glory now instead, in most cases, unless you're like feeding, and then you just get Vow, put it on your AD carry, you get Censor, and he kills everyone. But yeah, Righteous Glory was still a pretty big offender. I'll be sad because of this nerf, especially because they're adding it to combined cost, which is already kind of on the high side. Like, Knight's Vow's combined cost is 650 once you have the components. This shit was already 950, which is quite a bit for tanks in the mid to late game. If you don't get this item first, it was kind of a pain to get it with a combine at 950. Now it's up to 11. kind of wish they put it on something else, but that would fuck up other builds. So I guess I don't think it would have been too bad to put it on Crystalline Bracer because that item's really cheap already. It's a 250 combined if you have a Ruby Crystal, which you want to buy already. But I mean, I guess total burn, okay, 25% of the basic attacks, okay. Froststorm no longer ignites from basic attacking a burning enemy. Now ignites when it slows a burning enemy. Okay. This item is so weird, dude. I don't see anyone build this item. I don't feel like the item's too bad. Maybe you don't like. I'm scared that they'll buff this item so much and they'll nerf Sensor enough that suddenly people will be like, "Wait a minute, guys, this item's fucking busted," and then they just start building this first instead of Sensor, and then we have the same exact problem. Then they both get nerfed, and then AD carries go back to complaining. So I really don't know enough about this item to comment on it. I don't know if it's good right now. I'd guess not. I don't know when it's good. I don't know who it's good on. Honestly, I have no information about this item. I'm just starting to think that like if they buff this anymore and they nerf Arnett Sensor anymore, it might get to the point where people are just like, wait, we'll just build this item instead because they're both AD carry buffing items. Good change. Playing Alistar and stuff into like Sivir and like WQing and having both get blocked by Spell Shield was just like super annoying. Stuff like that. That's like the most common one I can think of. So good nerf because that's how it's advertised. And that's it. So yeah, a lot of interesting like rework kind of things in this patch. Obviously they've been holding out on them for a while because they didn't want to release a big patch before Worlds, which I think is good. So this is the this is going to be the first patch after Worlds. Worlds is all on 7.18, which I think is good. So yeah, very interesting champion changes here. Don't really know how to feel about most of them. I'll have to see them in action. So watch my stream to really like comment on too many of them. But I don't really disagree with most of these. I'm kind of on the edge with the Veigar one. I feel like he might be too good after. We'll see. Sensor. Don't really know. Like the Vayne change, Orange changes, whatever. Don't know about Ori, Malphite's whatever. Like the Janna. Hate Caitlyn, but I have to agree the Caitlyn changes were necessary and they're okay. Aatrox, definitely needed. Zenzel looks interesting. I think Azir still sucks. And yeah, that's about it. I'm interested to see how a lot of these feel in playtest. So I'll be getting right into that. Thanks for watching, guys.